eating. Nothing drives me crazier.
Oh, dude.
It's an eating-based podcast.
Well, cheers, you straights. It's From Behind the Barcast, the podcast for bartending, service industry, and drinking in general. I'm Paxton. That's Clint Moses. Over here on the ones and twos, we got us. Because it's just us two.
We're still possibly sick. We'll let you know after the break, actually.
Actually, yeah. We're going to take another test at the break. We're recording a little bit early because my man Clint is going to New York City to see Ruined the Jewels.
Rune of the Jewels.
So I'm Danish, so I know what a rune is.
Yes.
I love Run the
I
Jewels.
wrote my runes to make sure I don't have COVID. And Rage Against the Machine. They're opening for Rage.
That's crazy.
So they've got 3 songs that cross.
Oh.
Or 4 songs. Zach's done a song with them on every album.
I didn't realize that.
So Zach will be able to do those songs with them.
So the Prophets of Rage, is that still the band just without Zach and they put other people in?
The Prophets of Rage is a collaboration. My buddy DJ Lore is actually part of the Prophets of Rage.
Yeah.
And so it's part Public Enemy, part Rage Against the Machine, and part
Cypress Hill?
Cypress Hill.
Because Be Real's on it,
Yeah,
I think?
so it's like Be Real, it's DJ Lord and Chuck D sometimes, No Flav, and then like everybody in the band, I think, except for Zach, and Zach's on like some songs. So it's kind of a blend of all them, and they tour their different parts of them and stuff.
But this Rage that you're going to see.
This is Rage Against the Machine.
The 4-piece, Tom Morello.
Yes.
Zach De La Roca.
The whole group.
And the 2 other guys.
And the 2 other guys.
Yeah, I know they're not. Yeah, them 2, right? Well, we like to thank our patrons for supporting us so much. And so I'm wearing this Inferno t-shirt. We have a P.O. box. If you want to send us any swag, we'll pretty much advertise for free if you just send us stuff.
Yeah.
Not only that, so the P.O. box is P.O. Box 191, Tybee Island, Georgia, 31328. We also have an email address where you can send us your Karens and Darrens, which last week we received a very good listener, Karen. Thank you, Keely. It is FromBehindTheBarcast@gmail.com. That's also for inquiries in case you want to get a shout out on the show or advertise with us or something like that.
So you want to send? We have another listener, Karen or Darren, this week.
And I love it, and we're going to read them.
We're going to read this one on the second half when we get into our Karens and Darrens.
I love this because the thing that we want the most, I think, is our listener engagement, because if we have listeners who are in the service industry, which I'm assuming a lot are, is a big chunk of it. Let's hear your stories, because this is where your stories.
We want your stories to get out there.
Yeah, I mean, we've got plenty. We're not hurting for content, but we want our listeners to feel like we care about them.
And we care about 98% of you.
Yeah, exactly. And we want you to feel like you're involved.
Yes, get involved. Because when I see you somewhere at the bar at midnight and you're like, I got this great story for you. Guess what? I'm not going to remember
that story.
And
guess what? I don't want it in a text.
No, because the text is too long.
Yeah.
Just, I've been getting a lot of texts this week from people, but we'll get into that later. Yeah. I do want to tell my quick Rage Against the Machine story.
Well, we're going to talk about music right now because hip-hop shows in general and just going to see shows. Let's hear it.
I've seen Run the Jewels twice already.
Yeah.
This is my third time. This will be the first time I've seen them in an arena, because I'm going to Madison Square Garden.
MSG, baby.
MSG, and we were front row in the pit.
Was that on purpose, or did someone just have a hookup for you?
We bought these tickets in 2019. Because we were supposed to go in May 2020.
And it got canceled, I guess?
There was some sort of thing that happened.
Oh, I wonder
what it was. I had affected my life.
Brain fart.
Yeah, but Vinny and I got tickets then. Like, we were looking at North Carolina and MSG, trying to see what we could get. So I had tablet, phone, computer open, trying to get it, and Vinny got him on his phone. Mine's one thing.
Oh, no.
I was trying to do too much at once.
How defeated did you feel?
Terrible.
Because you're the guy that gets everyone a PS5.
Update.
Yeah, you're the guy with 2 iPads and a computer and a phone, getting people their PS5s whenever they come out onto the...
That just happened. Vinny just happened to get it.
Oh, man.
So we got front row tickets, and I was like, hell yeah. We're in the pit, and then it dawned on me that I'm 40, and you know what the pit's going to be? At a Rage Against the Machine show.
Oh, you know what? It might be.
It will be. It'll be a mosh pit.
Yeah, but it might be all aged your people your age.
I think it'll be people. But when I saw Run the Jewels last time, there was a small mosh pit for whatever reason at a rap concert.
Yeah.
And it was very small, but I went with my ex Sherry. First time I went and saw him, it was people about our age. Saw him second time, I was like, am I the chaperone for this party?
Yeah. So sometimes when I go see like Humphreys, it'll either be like, all right, all the old heads like me, 40s, just chilling, and it's like the best time. And then I went to go see him at the Poorhouse or at Music Farm in Charleston one time, and I was with my ex then, and she was like, "Are we all their parents?" And we were only like 34 or 5 then.
It's a weird feeling, but I'm excited about it. I'm just going to stand in the corner and not get destroyed if that starts happening.
Yeah.
Because I'm not moshing. I'm too old.
Because Rage Against the Machine, that's mosh city.
Well, see, and I'm going to go. I love Rage, but Brother Jules is my favorite group. So, like, especially an active one. So I'm going to go hard during that, and we'll probably step back for the first few songs of Rage and kind of gather myself and. But
then as soon as Down Rodeo comes on, here comes Clint out there with his helmet.
We'll rally around the family. But yeah, so I haven't been to obviously a live hip hop show of note since 2019.
How many live hip hop shows have you attended? Would you think?
So are we counting direct shows like this, or do festivals count?
Well, okay, yeah. So I'm going to count festivals because that works into my number as well, and it also works into my idea of hip hop shows.
Those are going to be a problem for you the whole time.
No, I just want to make sure this stays on. If you don't hit it long enough, it'll just turn right off.
All I wanted to.
Got him.
Yeah. If you're not watching, Paxton has a drum machine over here.
So I've got my drum machine over here, and it's going to be a staple. So I'm going to start using it later on for voice samples, like to trigger the Karen of the week and the interesting side note, or anything I just decide to put in there.
So I probably went to a lot of raves.
Likewise.
In my youth. Lots. I mean, I was going to 2 to 3 parties a month.
I'm just talking about hip hop shows.
Probably about 15 to 20.
Okay.
And but like if you count each individual person at a festival, that number doubles. But I want to count the festival as one show.
Okay, gotcha.
It's one show.
Gotcha.
Because I've never been to any of the ones in Atlanta that were the festival shows.
Yeah.
But I've gone to a lot of just singular shows.
Okay.
But I'm very particular about where I go see hip hop because like I've gone and seen a ton of people in Savannah locally, and you get bass and then oh yeah, you got the hype man and the bass, and you can't hear shit.
Well, I'm glad I didn't bury the lead on that, because the reason I was asking is I've probably seen maybe 10 hip hop shows in my life in terms of being at a festival and going to see a hip hop act, or just going to see them alone. So Run the Jewels about 5 years ago at Halloween down at Sewanee in Florida was the first hip hop show that I ever went to that I was like, I can hear every instrument in the beat. I can hear both of the MCs speaking. I can tell what they're saying. There's not 60 people on the stage.
Yeah, it's usually just them
mimicking every rhyme that they say.
Yeah,
and it was enjoyable, and it was pleasurable, and it was dope.
That's what happens when you get a producer who's also an MC, because the ELP does almost all their music.
And if you don't bring your entire effing entourage out onto the stage.
They had Gangsta Boo. But one time when I saw him in Orlando, Gangsta Boo came
as a feature for a song she was on?
For one song she was on.
Thank you.
And she did hype for the previous song. She kind of came out during it.
Yeah.
But she was very not unnoticeable lyrically. Like it was just
because you know who's really noticeable? All the Wu-Tang members yelling all at the same time.
Yeah, and like they're not all on this age. Not all.
I walked away from a Wu-Tang show.
I've tried to watch Wu-Tang twice, and both times I was like,
I can't do it.
Look, can we just get like 5 people up there? We don't need everybody that ever was once in Wu-Tang.
And not only that, but then their cousins and their nephews and the sound guy.
What was it?
The blunt roller.
What was the Versus things? Remember the Versus things that started during the pandemic? Swiss Beats and
I don't think so.
And was it Primo? I don't know. It was Swiss Beats and another producer did like a Swiss Beats versus Primo thing, and so they would play their own songs, and it was RZA versus so and so. It was producers at first, and then it was rap groups.
Yeah.
And so as they went on and were running low, they did the Dipset versus the Locks.
Dipset, is that like Cameron and them? Okay.
Yeah. So the rappers are on stage with like 2 or 3 people, and they're on.
This is a live event.
This is one of the first ones they did live.
Gotcha.
And then something happened, and there was a kerfuffle, and then the rest of the entourage comes on the stage, and they're like they stopped the show, and they're like, guys, the stage is falling apart. You need to get off, and no one wants to back down. So like,
because they're having like a legit beef,
legit fight. Like so, they had to get Cameron and Jada in the middle to like hug it out, and like, guys, it's fine, back up. And then the other guys, the crew, were like, nah. And it's like the stage is like rocking, and finally they got enough of them off, and they were like, okay, no matter what happens, guys, we can't do this again because we could die up here. And then like the Dipset didn't care; they have no careers left. But Jada's over there like, hey, I'm still touring.
Well, the thing is about a hip hop show is typically the sound is the very last thing that they care about putting forth. Mostly it's like vibe and like who's there, who's joining
what are you
them,
wearing,
what you're wearing, how loud you can be, all this. So I was but typically at festivals, it's not up to them whether it sounds good
exactly.
or not.
So
it's up to the,
and that's what I've seen. I've heard
the best shows
live is because the festival controls the music and not the rap.
And the DJ can't turn it up to 11 and max out the bass. They'll be like, sorry, I'm going to turn you down from up here at the front of the house now.
Yeah.
So, but a funny example, and the show is still good, and it's not exactly hip hop, but Big Grams, which is Fantagram and Big Boy, when they first came out with that first album, which was just banger from end to end, and I loved every moment of that thing. About a year later, they announced that they were playing at Okeechobee down in Florida, and Okeechobee, this was the first year that it ever happened, right? So I go down there, and I know that they're playing at like 7 o'clock on Sunday, whatever. So I get to that venue, because there's like 8 stages or something, a lot of stages. So I get to that venue an hour early. Not to necessarily get super close, but just to get somewhere comfortable.
Exactly. I like to get early, so I want to get a good spot.
Yeah, good spot, not on the rail.
Spot. I don't want to be right on the front row. No. I want to be because you're going to get smashed.
Exactly.
You're going to get smashed.
You're going to get
trampled. Back a little bit.
Yeah.
Judge the size of the room. And then figure out where you're going to be.
So I caught the end,
but I'm not going to be way up there.
No, I'm not exactly. Yeah, I'm going to get comfortable somewhere, and I can make that decision for myself and set out my tapestries or whatever.
Yeah.
So that I can make that happen for myself.
A lot of tapestries at rap.
Well, this is a festival. This is like an EDM festival kind of, but with bands. I mean, Humphreys was there.
I'm not going to be laying down tapestries on Monday or Tuesday.
No, I don't think you'll be having any tapestries in MSG. So I get there early, and the band before them was about 20 minutes from being done, because there's about a 30-minute turnover. It was a Japanese ska band with 14 pieces.
Oh, whoa.
So horns galore. So they were
like, oh, a fan finally. Yeah. You're the first one to get there.
So they were partying, whatever. And it was it was a super fun end of a show. You catch the end of somebody's set, they're always bringing out the big guns for that. So then Big Rams doesn't start on time. And I was like, now this is a festival and no one has been late up until then. And this is Sunday and it started on Thursday. Finally, they just send this poor guy out there. He's not he's not the producer. He's not the girl that sings, and he's not Big Boy. It's just some dude. He goes, hey, y'all, we trying to get started as quick as we can, but for some reason they can't get these microphones working right. I was like, you lying son of a bitch. There were just 50 mics on that stage. You know what it takes to mic up a horn band?
Yeah, and unplug a bunch of those.
And I was like, look, man, nobody believes you that you can't get the microphones together.
Yeah.
Big Boy's late. And shut up and tell the truth.
Yeah.
Big Boy shows up like 20 minutes late, and they kill it. And it sounded great because it was.
And they only have 8 songs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But all 8 bangers. Yeah.
Exactly. Did they do all just their stuff?
They did
do one Big Boy song or two?
They teased a little bit of Big Boy stuff, but they did I Like the Way You Move for like 10 seconds. They did like the medley thing.
Yeah.
Because I don't know the legality of it, because on his solo albums, so many producers produce all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how much he could use. So he just did less than 30 seconds of a bunch of
just the bare minimum.
But then it was mostly there was some stuff that it was I guess it was just Fanagram stuff that I'd never really heard because the chick would just do the whole song. And I was in love with her. I was like, Big Boy can stay away if I don't care.
It's interesting that that's who you brought up because the last show I went to was the Big Boy and the Dungeon Family in 2019 when Vinny and I went on our go see Avengers Endgame 3 times in 48 hours tour. After the tour, we went to North Carolina.
That was a good tour.
Good tour. Whew, amazing. After that was over, we went to North Carolina to what's that place called? Asheville to go to see Big Boy and the Dungeon Family. Because it was close by. Because that's the kind of thing I don't want to see them in Atlanta. Because I love Atlanta. I was born in Atlanta. I rep the A all day. But as everyone that's been to an Atlanta hip hop show understands, it's a little touchy sometimes.
Yep.
It's a little tight. People get a little offensive. And we went to this gigantic place in North Carolina, and I was like, perfect place to see them. It's Asheville, North Carolina, and it was great. Sounds great. And it was in an open field. We did see a girl who was probably being human trafficked, but we couldn't do anything about that.
What can you do sometimes?
Well, there was 4 of them, and one of them bumped into Vinny, and Vinny was like, "Hey man, screw off!" And then I was like, "Hey, we're not gonna fight them." He's like, "Why?" I was like, "Because I'm not going to fight them. While you help a little bit."
If they're willing to traffic humans, what are they willing to do to you? And they're Albanian.
And they were on a lot of meth.
Oh wow, yeah.
Oh yeah, you could like see the crystals coming out of their skin. And I was like,
sweating
I looked at him, I was
crystals.
like, they're on meth. He's like, how you know? I'm like, just trust me, I know a guy.
Well, the thing is, all
But the show was amazing, and it started on time.
What constitutes
the young bloods were there?
What constitutes the Dungeon family? Like,
so there was no Andre because there's some sort of contractual crap where Andre can.
Yeah. So was there like CeeLo or Big Gip or?
And surprisingly, CeeLo was there.
Really? He'd be the last one.
It was all the Goody Mob.
Because his value went so high after Goody Mob.
But it came back down after because Gnarls Barkley isn't anything anymore. So it's dropped back down. So it was everybody except for Andre, no Bubba Sparks, and no. There was a member or two of everything.
Was Sleepy Brown there?
Sleepy Brown was there.
This
was when they were gonna.
Cool Breeze.
Cool Breeze was there. Yeah.
Cujo.
Cujo was there. I think. No, Cujo maybe he's dead.
I don't know.
Jeffro, look it up.
We'll
let you know in a while.
Man, look at that empty chair, though.
I
mean,
know
it's kind of sad.
It is
I like it though because, like you said earlier, it's way less hot up here than it normally is.
And we don't have all the extra cameras on. Like it's pretty. it's just oddly quiet.
Yeah.
Like when you come home, like when I take my dog to the groomer, and then I come home and I'm like, oh yeah, I just left him there just now, but I'm like used to that noise, and I'm like,
oh right, yeah,
quiet.
Oh, he's good.
Yeah.
So
I've always had a pretty good time. But I saw Run the Jewels the first time at like a bar. There was like 150, 200 people.
Was it because they weren't popular yet?
It was after the first Run the Jewels album, so they hadn't blown up yet.
Oh, gotcha.
The third one was when they really exploded, and I went on that tour to Orlando. Me and Sherry went, and there was we were at a bar venue, so it was probably about 30% bigger than Victory North, and we
good size.
We got up front, watched the opening group perform, and the people started. I mean, we were piling in. And like I said, they're all younger than us, and so I'm kind of like starting getting kind of squished. I'm trying to keep my space and stuff.
Yeah.
Then Run the Jewels starts, so I light up the blunt I brought with me because everybody else is. Well, some dumb girl knocks my drink out of my hand like 4 songs in. About the 7th or 8th song, I was like, I'm so parched because of one, not just that I'm smoking, but the secondhand smoke also.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I gotta get water. I got, and I'm like, I gotta go. So I'm like, but I'm waiting for the song where I'm like, okay, this is the song I don't care about.
Yeah.
And I was like, look, once I go, we're not going to be able to get back here. Like,
to the same spot.
Like, you need to just come with me. And so I'm kind of dragging her, and I get to the bar. I'm like, and I'm just pointing at my mouth, and the woman's like, what? And I'm like, and it's so loud. I'm like, wah. And she's like, what? I was like, she's like, what do you want? I'm like, what? And I'm like, I drag Sherry in front. I'm like,
speak.
She's like, he needs water. He can't breathe. And she was like, oh, okay, here you go. And I'm like,
ooh, I got to try that. Be in the back of the line and go, water, I can't breathe.
I put down like 4 of them and was like, I gave her $10. She's like, what's this for? I'm like, I don't care.
You saved me, yeah.
I'm just dying. And then so we kind of just moved off to the side and watched the rest. And I was just like not trying to get back in there, in that area. But this is going to be, I've seen videos of this concert already, this tour.
Whew. Oh, like their stage setup or whatever.
Yeah, and it's just,
like,
I mean, it's just massive.
When I saw them 5-6 years ago at Hula, they had projection behind them. It was like, it wasn't just 2 MCs and a DJ. You know what I mean? There's some production value.
When Rage was a pretty live show, from what I
understand.
Oh,
yeah.
I was going to see them when I was younger and something happened and I didn't.
And I guess there'll be some, like you said, Zach De La Rocca, there will be some crossover.
There is.
That's crazy.
There's 3 of the songs they've been doing. I've looked at the set list and they've been doing at least 3 of the crossovers.
I was at Red Rocks.
And it's in New York at Madison Square Garden where ELP is from. And a lot of other
I didn't realize he was from New York.
Yeah, he's a Brooklyn kid.
Oh, gotcha.
And the Brooklyn Brooklyn boy and the Grady baby.
Nice.
So, but there's usually, they're doing 3 nights. There'll be somebody there each night, like a guest.
That's a little different than the guest before.
Yeah,
because they're not going to do 3 different nights.
Primo would be nice.
Yeah.
They've done some stuff with some other people that are from the New York area, but I'm sure if we don't get Primo Monday, 50% chance we got him Tuesday or Wednesday.
So you're going to be there for all 3?
No. Sorry, we don't just do Tuesday night. We picked
gotcha.
We picked the middle night.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because we're flying up Monday and flying back Wednesday
gotcha.
at 9 a.m. because Delta changed our 2:30 flight to 9 a.m.
Oh, that's fun.
Yes.
At least you can go ahead and get on the plane and get yourself slept. Or
it's a direct flight, so it's like a 2-hour flight.
Oh, wow.
It's a 45-minute nap, but it's an hour on the train to get from where we're staying in Times Square.
Speaking of spilling drinks, though, at shows, too. So the girl that slapped her drink out, she didn't try and make amends at all?
Oh, she just continued to move along. And it was not worth the trouble.
Here's the way you make amends. So at Red Rocks, they sell $8 lemonades. But the thing is, they are fresh squeezed lemons.
Ooh, okay.
The lemons are in there, and they're so refreshing. And what I do is I take the Freedom Flask, which wraps around your belly.
Oh, yeah, I'm very familiar.
Filled with vodka, and I buy those lemonades drink some down, put the vodka in there. It's the best vodka lemonade
Looks
you've
like you're
ever
peeing
had.
in your cup.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just walking through, going to the bathroom, and I kicked this guy's lemonade over on accident, obviously, and it was full. So I stopped and I looked at him. I was like, "Hey, dude, I'm gonna go pee and then grab you one of these right now. Are you gonna be right here?" He goes, "It's fine, man. I know you're not coming back." I was like, "Dude, are you gonna be right here?" Yeah, okay. So I went and bought him one, brought it back, sat it down, and I was like, "Do you want any vodka in that?" And he goes, "Oh my, you came back?" I was like, "Yeah, man. Like I would have just not said anything if I wasn't gonna come. I'd have been like, 'Oh, sorry, bro, my mistake.'"
Yeah.
So I pour him some vodka in there, and he goes, "Hang on right here." He reaches down into his satchel and he gives me a half a gram of Molly.
What?
I was like, that's why when you kick someone's drink over,
yeah.
you buy so you get them another one. I'll tell you this, listener of the show, the first time I saw Funk You at not Victory North, but the new place with the dinosaurs or whatever, and the Gretsch guitars all over the wall. District, something like that. At the end of River Street.
I could have said it if you weren't
Plant Riverside.
Plant Riverside District. That'll work.
Mike, baby Mike.
Yeah.
He accidentally knocked my drink out of my hand. He's like, "Dude, I'm so sorry." I was like, "It's fucking fine. You're my buddy, whatever." Yeah. Literally 2 seconds later, somehow he got behind the bar and brought me another bourbon and water. So then I repaid him with whatever. But a little reach around. But if you knock, here's just
it's common courtesy.
Common courtesy, even if it's a water.
Yeah.
Because think about you. You're sitting there. You're French inhaling that blunt.
Yes, exactly. French inhaling that blunt.
So your mouth was very dry.
And the thing is, it was the cocktail was very low, but I knew I wasn't going to leave this area, the whole thing. So we basically went and got 4 drinks.
Yeah.
Put one back pretty quick, and then I hold on to the other one to the ice, so then I can do this to stretch it out. Yeah, baby. And then by the time this happens, I'm down to 3 ounces of liquid, but I've got ice in there, and that ice.
Oh, you chew on that
all
bad boy?
You need is a little bit of ice, and that'll satiate the blunt burn.
You're right back in it,
and I'm right back in it. And it was just our trip to Orlando was not unlike your trip to Macon we talked about last week.
Gotcha.
So I could do a whole episode on how just awful Orlando was for us. It's also pretty funny stuff, like a hooker at 11:30 in the afternoon, walking across the parking lot, looking just ragged. And so I was spun around to get a picture, and she was like, she threw
Is this a lot lizard doing the walk of shame, or is this?
She was like,
or is she just coming to work?
I'm not sure where she was. I think she had been up. I bet looked like she had been somewhere all night, and it had been.
Because normally you don't keep hookers all night, right?
No, she looked damaged in more ways than she was mentally.
Because normally, like a hooker is just like a
but
hour
it was
or two.
And then I was gonna put the picture on Facebook because I was like, "Ooh, picture's hooker," and so she pulled her boobs out and wouldn't put them back, and was like, she had to reach down to put them back in. She was not expensive for the evening.
Well, yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. Because Mac Miller, when he OD'd and died or whatever, he owed like $4,000 because a toot brought him all those drugs, and he forgot that she cost by the hour just to hang out in the studio.
Oh,
so on top of the drugs that he bought that killed him,
I was like a toot, and I was like, I thought you meant a prostitute. Yeah, I thought you meant like a toot.
No, a toot, prostitute, toot man. He owed $4,000 on top of the drugs that he bought that killed him because the toot was there for like 6 hours.
Oh my god!
Because this drug dealer used toots to deliver the drugs because they didn't care.
Excuse me. I was drinking. I haven't drank since Monday, and Grant left 2 cool Coors Lights. So I got this and then 1 bottle.
Yeah.
It was when he came back from my house. Yeah. He opened another beer up and he got to the house, drank half of it, and was like, "I can't do this." And poured it out, and I was like,
"Oh wow, yeah, bro. Good job."
The thing is, we still stayed up till I had slept all day till like 2:00 in the morning talking, and like he went to bed and he comes out to like pee and he stops and talks. I'm like, "Go to sleep." Like, don't you have to get up in the morning?
Speaking of Grant, because he wasn't good at self-promoting very much, which I get. Like I like that, but his stuff. I mean, I don't know if you can get it online at all, but if you want to look at it, his stuff is really good.
Just Google Grant Nelson Artist.
Yeah, well, it's grantnelsonartist.com on his card here.
Yeah,
and
if you Google Grant Nelson Artist, he's on like most of the entire front page is him.
Yeah,
there's like a Pinterest. There's going to his website is the quickest way to get in touch with him, and you can email him. He'll respond within 2 to 5 days. If you want a golf cart, he's also got you apparently.
Speaking of not drinking, so I'm drinking a Earl Grey extra strong tea bag today because I am doing 10 days of no drinking and no smoking cigarettes. I don't smoke weed. Hard to believe, I know, but So I'm doing those because after I got sick, I was like,
he only French inhales when he smokes.
I only
weed.
French inhales when I smoke weed. We were talking about the French inhale before the podcast.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I know what that is. I only used to do it with weed, though.
Because Grant didn't know what it was, and I did it with a cigarette and was like, oh, God.
So I'm doing a YouTube series called 10 Days at the Time, where I either abstain from something or do something for 10 days at the time. And right now I'm on day 4 of no drinking and no smoking. It's sort of a cheat because I don't smoke unless I drink. But I have noted I've woken up at the same time every day. Sleep, I don't need as much coaxing to sleep.
Coaxing.
You know? And but the only thing was, today, up until about 3 hours ago, was the evacuation day. So apparently on day 4, which I'm really on like day 7, but you know, for the sake of the video, I started it on Monday. But apparently all the nicotine and alcohol is out of your body when it comes to anything that would be residual. But apparently today is the evacuation day because anything that was been inside of my body came out the bottom end.
Yeah, I haven't been normal since COVID started down there.
Well, see, because
I can't get food. I can't go to the grocery store.
I know.
And people are like, I'll bring you stuff, and I'm like, I'm not want to ask someone to be like, oh, I need these 7 things from the grocery store. I'm just kind of dealing with it. But I'm now at ground zero for food, and I had to tried twice to get Grubhub last night. We were talking on that, and so I ended up just getting Chef Juan. And
so you tried, but you were telling me this yesterday. You tried two different restaurants for Grubhub to bring it to.
Right,
you.
and to get something that was healthier than
I
ended up
and
getting.
Neither would honor it. So then you had to go to the lowest of the low.
Chef Juan's not that bad, but like it's Chinese food's not that good for you.
I was gonna say Chef Juan in terms of Chinese food is good. It's not like dirty or gross.
But they're fried,
but Chinese food is inherently bad for you.
But this fried rice had been fried. fried thrice. Thrice fried rice.
Thrice
fried rice. And it was like the thing is, I got house lo mein, so I immediately kill like half of that because I like the house lo mein.
Oh yeah,
the fat noodles, and I got the fried chicken wings. They have really good fried chicken wings, and I was like, you know what, make it a fried rice with the pork fried rice. And so I powered through some of it, and then I'm like, then I got stoned. And it was like, oh yeah, I can eat this now.
Yeah,
and I just put a bunch of butter in it and sauteed it again real quick. Like I threw four rice.
Right.
I got to just heat it up again with butter, and it softened it up some.
See, I always get steamed rice because of that very thing.
I usually get steamed rice when
I always
get Japanese
steamed.
food. It's always steamed.
Always steamed because you got so much shrimp sauce to put on there. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But the fried rice, I don't get it from Chinese restaurants because if they do fry it that third time, they are pellets.
Yeah.
And it hurts.
Yeah.
It's so salty and sodium-y, you know?
Yeah, and they give you extra soy sauce. I'm like, who uses this?
There's some in my fridge right now. I was like, who the hell keeps this stuff?
Yeah.
That is not soy sauce.
No, and it makes the cheapest soy sauce. And like that, the duck sauce, their hot sauce, all that. I'm like, I like the hot mustard.
Hot mustard's good, yeah.
Hot mustard's good, but Chef Juan charges you for it. You get the half-ounce ramekin, and it's half full.
No.
And it's 25 cents.
Dang.
Usually the first one's free. If I go pick up food, I'll get my food and go, oh, let me get 2 of them.
Yeah, that's any good. That's
and 2, they're like.
Any good drug dealer, first one's free, man.
Yeah. They don't charge, they won't charge you for 2, but you get 4. They're like, all right.
See, I like the Seasons of Japan over there on the south side because even if I get it to go, now, number one, they give you a satchel of shrimp sauce
when
you leave there. But even then, I'll sit down and eat partial of the meal and just pump out all the spicy shrimp sauce that they got into the little paper cups and just dump it all over it.
Oh, yeah.
I go extra hard.
See, the thing is, I don't use shrimp sauce on sushi because that's weird. Like every now,
that's super white.
Unless it's a fried roll, and one of my friends, I don't order fried rolls. But with whatever reason, with stir fry, I like the shrimp sauce. That's good.
Since I started making my own, I'll cook rice just to have shrimp sauce on top of it.
Oh yeah, all the time.
And I know what I put in it.
Maybe I'll do that tonight because all I have is a steak.
Yeah.
I was telling you it's gonna be canned vegetables tonight for the first time in my life. Now, if we pass this COVID test, I might go hit Kroger up real quick.
Oh, wow,
I'll throw a little mask on, run up in there, and grab some stuff real quick if I can get out of here in time.
Yeah, I guess we'll just we'll take our test here at the break.
Let's go do that right now. Then.
All right. We'll see you in the second half. That was nice and smooth, baby. You know what? Maybe 2 people. You're on fire. Ooh, welcome back.
We are back.
Hey, welcome back to the
long time since heard that noise.
Oh, I know, yeah. Shout out Vinny. What's up, man?
Vinny, thanks for being Vinny.
Thanks for being Vinny, and for getting your cigarettes from Amusement Pros, Savannah, Georgia. Likewise, like to shout out a couple other businesses. Ty Bean, the Tybee Island Coffee Shop right next to Huckapoo's Bites and Booze. It's where I get coffee.
Well, you would be getting coffee if you could.
If I could, but I can't because
we took our tests in the break, and I'm still over here in negative land. We're getting some feedback on that there.
You boys still got COVID.
But Paxton's line showed up in less than 4 minutes.
I mean, literally, I put the drops in there.
But that's the vaccine may have helped me here.
Yeah. So because Allie also had the vaccine, and she like lickety split. Mine it was like 3 really terrible days, but then I've been a little sluggish, and my brain's been a little bit slow, more than normal. And just going up and down the stairs and stuff, I get a little winded.
Yeah, that's me when I walk my dog.
Yeah.
Like I get back and I'm usually never winded. I move pretty fast, but like I get back and I'm like, a little extra. Like the other night when we were here, we shot with Grant. I had to run up and down the stairs twice in like 5 minutes. I got up here and was like, ugh.
I could tell because
hangover plus.
I could tell by your hair that you were hungover and half COVIDy. Because normally, like, it's not like the perfect coiffure or anything like that.
I get out the shower, I brush my hair straight back. And then that's it. But I think
there were a few things that were just askew.
Yeah, it was just a mess. Well, I was supposed to get my hair cut that Monday, and I couldn't. But hopefully, just hold strong, and I get my hair cut before I go to the NY. Because you got to be looking good for that front row rage. I don't know if I said this in the first half, but when I was at BC, at out of uniform day, and my first out of uniform day as a freshman at BC, I wore my corduroy shorts, big baggy corduroy shorts I had made from pants into shorts, with my chain wallet the size of like a large dog chain. And I didn't even consider the fact that I was at a Catholic school, so I wore my Rage Against the Machine Nuns with Guns shirt.
Oh, wow.
They didn't go over real well.
It didn't. That's weird.
People at BC weren't real happy with that. I don't know why.
A Catholic military school didn't like your nuns with guns.
No.
That's weird.
It never even crossed my 14-year-old mind.
You know what's funny, though? I bet today it would go over well.
Oh, yeah, today would be fine.
Because now they're like, hell yeah, our nuns got guns. Got to protect the school. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, they're
because the things that would be offensive to certain people back in the day are now like their point of pride.
Oh God, yes.
You know what I mean? When it comes to something like that, like, because think about it. Like, had you ever seen a T-shirt with a president on it with Rambo's body holding a gun?
No, I had not. But that's become the thing now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then before that, it was it's a real strange thing how. What is deemed offensive, which I don't think anything's offensive, because if you let something be offensive, it will be. But if you want to be a jerk off, then be a jerk off. It doesn't offend me that you're a jerk off. Yeah. You just have to live with yourself. I'm
gonna recognize your jerk offness.
Yeah, jerk offness.
Speaking of people who aren't jerk offs,
I love how you finished that for me like it's a real fucking word. It's jerk offness. Oh, I see what you're doing. You're over there running the F count. You're trying to get. Oh man.
All right, don't worry. I'm gonna F up. Don't worry. So speaking of things that came from an F, happy birthday and we're doing this a little earlier than normal, so I may have double done or something. I don't know. Look, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we're recording on a weird day.
But a day we won't mention.
A day not to be mentioned.
A day not to be mentioned. So happy birthday, Rob Frame.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
North Beach Grill fame. Yeah. Short fellow.
Real short. Big Tennessee fan. Terribly short.
Speaking of short guys, Taylor Tillman. Happy birthday, Taylor.
Also very short.
Very short.
Drinks white long drinks.
Syl Davis.
Sweet girl.
Syl. Sweet girl.
Works with my roommate, Travis.
Oh, yeah. She lives down the street from me. I see her walking her dog, Loki, all the time.
Oh, she lives in that neighborhood?
In that neighborhood. Yes, she does. Thank you for not doctoring that neighborhood, mostly right now. Michael Crosby. Long-time listener, long-time Patreon.
Oh, yeah. He's in the Bahamas, isn't he?
He's in the Caribbean.
The Caribbean.
Yes, somewhere down there. Happy birthday to our newest Patreon subscriber, Caitlin Boston.
Oh, yeah.
Paxton's work wife. Happy birthday. We've been in touch a lot lately. But happy birthday. And she just subscribed to Patreon, so thank you so much.
Oh, wow. I didn't even see that. Yeah.
Yes, as you don't.
As I don't see anything.
Angie Celeste.
Oh, yeah.
Great woman, super sweet, beautiful heart. And Caitlin Webb. I think a part-time listener, but also a nice local girl. But not just celebration of birthdays year on year.
But births.
Go right ahead.
Kyle and Sarah had their kid, and
their baby boy.
So I work with Kyle, and ever since Sarah got pregnant, I thought of Steve Zissou. So I've just been like, Papa Steve. It has no bearing on him. His middle name isn't Steve. It has nothing to do with any of that.
That's just his name.
But I'm just like, Papa Steve. And once you start,
Yeah. Oh,
with a nick. I mean,
you get a nickname just right at the right time, it stays forever.
So I'm just like,
it stays forever. Because like, I don't have a lot of nicknames, but then you have that friend that has like 10 nicknames. That you're like, you can't get, like a guy Wes I grew up with had like 10-pound head, lemon head. Wes, what was it? Well, he had just the Corolla Corvette Commander, like just all these random. Yes, it's Wes, like just random nicknames that had nothing to do with him. The Monsters of Rosh Hashanah was one. He wasn't Jewish, but his stepdad was. So he was when we were in high school.
The Monsters of Rosh Hashanah.
You had the Monsters of Rock. We did the Monsters of Rosh Hashanah, like the big, monster Jewish songs there. But happy birthday to all of you.
Well, the thing, Kyle, was he as the weeks went by, I was like, so you get nervous that it's coming up? He's like, I just want it to happen. Like he's been ready. He goes, about to have to change my life here soon. Like what? Like you're not going to go to the car wash as much or something?
That kid's gonna love the car wash.
Ever since I was a young man, my daddy took me to the car wash 3 times a week for some reason when the car wasn't even dirty.
He had a monthly subscription. We would just do laps in there sometimes. Kids love car washes though.
Oh man, especially the mint one that I believe he goes to over there on Whitmore.
All the lights and stuff in it.
Yeah, lights, different colored foams.
You know who hates that?
Who's that?
My dog.
I bet.
He was like, he couldn't, because he can't get away from it and all that noise. And I was like, because dogs either love him or hate him, and that was his one and only time.
So how does your dog react to I don't know, people yelling outside of your house and getting into fights and everything?
He's not a big fan of that, especially when it's early in the evening.
Yeah.
People that may end up being Karens or
shit.
Darren.
It's the Karen of the week. It's the Karen of the week.
Why did you do that, Karen?
Shit.
39, 27.
It's the Karen of the week.
We got a neighborhood Karen.
So we got a neighborhood Karen. There's a gang of Karen.
And I remember, man, you telling me the story the other night too. I'm glad we have it for this episode. I was like, yeah, that sounds like some that neighborhood stuff.
This is when I think I might have COVID, but I'm not sure because you're MIA and not feeling well, so I'm waiting to hear back from you. And it's 9:45 on Friday night, and there is a lot of commotion outside, yelling and screaming. So I walk outside I ain't afraid to fight you, and that's why your daughter got raped.
No, that's not what you said. That's what you heard.
That's what I heard.
Jesus.
No, I turned my front porch light off, waited the obligatory minute or two, and then kind of crept out. And it's down the street where other neighbors have had issues before. 10 days ago, the cops were out there because of this guy on the corner yelling at this 17-year-old girl. But now it's girl, mom, and dad. And then the people across the street, it's 2 or 3 guys that are over there hanging out. And there's another woman who I think just lives in the cul-de-sac. And they're just full-on screaming.
And they live right across from each other.
And
right.
That guy that was the people that aren't the family, like his car got hit like a week or 2 ago, and he thought that her boyfriend or something had something to do with it. So he was yelling at her about it the previous time when the cops came, and the dad was off. Was at work. He's a firefighter, and this is a big man, about 6'6", probably about 280.
Yeah,
he's not a small man, and the other guy is smaller than me. So they're over there yelling at each other, and like the guy that's getting yelled at, that's the one that came with the daughter the previous time, has cameras all over his house. So he's trying to instigate them into doing something so that he has it on camera.
Right, he has a record of it.
Yeah, so she spits on him, and he's like, that's assault. Well, one of our neighbors called the police before he walked outside, and texted my neighbor and was like, "Hey, come outside, let's watch this." So we're like hiding in like the darkness of the shadow of your vehicle, actually. And like trying not to get seen because they're in the street light, but you can kind of see us.
Yeah.
And so then 4 cops come flying up, and they kind of separate it some. The daughter, who's talking a lot of shit, but is trying to wrangle both of her parents who are inebriated. And so she gets...
And this is, she's like, you said she's like 17 or something
she was yelling she was 17
And you said the fireman dad was drunk, right?
Was very drunk. Basically what it started, he had started his motorcycle at like 9:30 at night to work on it or something.
Yeah.
And it was hot outside. So I figured, that's not a bad time to work. It's a Friday night. And the other guy apparently was like, shut the F up from across the street. And then the exchange
Does he have
started.
like a loud Harley or something like that?
Yeah, as firefighters of that size tend to do. He wasn't riding a crotch rocket at that size.
Yeah, I was going to say a 6'5" guy.
So the cops come. There's a lot of yelling still going on. They're yelling about other stuff that I don't know what's going on. It's hard to hear. There's a lot of yelling. They get the daughter separated. They calm her down. Mom keeps trying to come out in the street. Yells famously, "I ain't afraid to catch no charge." And I'm like, oh, okay. So the cops have gotten these guys back on their porch. They've gotten everybody but Mom back inside. I'm like, well, this isn't going to happen. So we both go back inside.
You adjourn to inside. No more show.
So neighbor and I are texting each other. I'm like, so how long till they come back? And I'm thinking it's going to be about an hour and a half. 30 minutes later, I hear screaming, "It's the girl!" And it's just over my. And I turned my TV down so I could hear what was going to happen.
Of course
so,
you did.
And so, look, I'm bored. I
Yeah.
might have COVID. I can't go anywhere. I can't do anything. So I'm like,
Give me. This is my entertainment.
give me a show. And so it's now like almost 10:30. The girl is now locked outside of her house. She is banging on her own door, screaming and yelling.
The 17-year-old girl.
Yes. The people that they were fighting with before are sitting on their porch, hysterically laughing at her.
Because she is in her.
She's in a sports bra and a pair of panties. She is not.
This-
they're like boy shorts.
Yeah.
But she wasn't wearing that when she was out the first time. She had on like a t-shirt. And her father, I should have noted this, was of course not wearing a shirt.
Oh, weird.
And I was I was thinking, did the shirt come off?
Yeah.
Or was it never on?
Right.
So she's kicking the door, trying to get back in. They're screaming her. She's screaming, "Someone please call the cops. He hit me." And I'm not sure if she's saying cross the street guy or dad.
Or dad, yeah.
Hit her. I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
The neighbor has rejoined me. We were both watching this event.
Yeah, but the other neighbors are laughing at this young girl.
Yes. And so she's screaming across the street at them.
Like, please help me.
And brings back, "That's why your daughter got raped." And I don't know how
no.
old their daughter is. They have one that's like 10. I'm hoping to God
Wow.
you don't want anybody to get raped, but at least hopefully it wasn't a child.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm not sure about that. I didn't do any of my own research. But the cops, we're out there for 2 minutes, and here come the police. And I don't know who called them this time, or the first time, obviously. But I don't, we're watching. Cops come back. I'm like, well, certainly someone's going to jail now. The cops are back. Dad finally comes outside. Daughter's screaming at him from the street. It's almost incoherent. She was like banging on the side door of the glass, and I was like, she's going to go through that damn door. So the cops come. They get her to the side. They didn't come with the female cop this time. I'm like, what are you doing? You knew there was a young girl here. And then now she's in her underwear. The cops are trying to like.
Yeah, their hands are literally tied.
So I was like, hey, should we take her shirt? And I was like, I don't want them to see us. So like,
yeah, they might start questioning you, and now you got 30 minutes of statements to make.
Yeah, and I don't want to do that. So I'm trying to casually stay out the way, but I feel bad for this girl because she doesn't have any clothes.
Yeah.
She's saying that her dad hit her, and then then she's gonna f her mom up too.
Yeah.
I'll f you up, and like mom has changed clothes. Dad is, you guessed it, still shirtless. And Dad's like, I would hit my daughter. My wife is my witness. They had the daughter in the back of the car.
I thought you were going to say, I wouldn't hit my daughter. I'd hit her instead if I was mad.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, I love her. I'd never hit her. So he's going on and on. The cops, there's 4 cops, and he's like, get off my damn property. He's using the F-bomb. I'm trying not to. Get off my property. I don't want you over here. Dude, I hate you guys. The cops kind of semi-surround this big guy. He starts shadowboxing at the cops.
Now, this is a big old white fireman.
Yes, and I'll give him credit. He hadn't practiced in a long time, but he had pretty good technique.
Yeah.
He kept his hands upright.
Yeah.
So and then these guys have got to be thinking, okay, we're going to have to tase this big boy. And so about this time.
At minimum tase. At maximum take to jail.
Take to jail. About this time, a truck that's his truck comes rolling up. He's not been there the whole time. Out jumps older daughter, and I'm guessing what is her boyfriend, who is about 5'8", black guy, long hair, dressed pretty nice. He is pulling the dad back in the house. Dad's not wanting to come. The cop's like, you're going to go to jail if you go back inside. He somehow gets this big man in the house. He's like, get the hell in the goddamn house. He's yelling at the guy, and the guy like cowers into the home. So they let the girl go back inside. I guess what happened, the older girl came to get her.
To get the young sister.
And the 17-year-old. And then also the 8-year-old and 4-year-old that were in the house.
You hadn't seen these two the
Didn't
entire
know they
time.
existed at all. I've never seen. I knew there was another child there, but I thought maybe it was just the older girl's kid. So now they're coming out of the house with a child that is being carried.
Oh my
and
God.
And 8-year-old's like, bye, Mom. I'll see you later. And they get all their stuff together, get him in the car. Dads came outside, talk more trash, and then the cops leave and they leave. That's it.
But see, if I start shadowboxing to a Tybee cop, that taser's coming out before I get my second swing in.
Yeah, you're working on your second combo and you're down.
So since he's a firefighter, it must be known that
I'm guessing that he was, and they ended up calling. He was like, call the corporal. So the guy that was in charge of all the cops.
Oh yeah,
rolled
you
up
mentioned that.
Because I knew he was higher ranked 1, not wearing a vest, 2, parked in the middle of the road.
Middle of the road didn't care.
Yeah, didn't care. And
yeah,
so,
that's and what that's something we were talking about earlier is depending on who you are and how much privilege you think you have. There's some people that would not even dream about lifting their hands away from their
because they were
sides.
telling him to put his hands behind his back for a while.
If someone else did that, they'd either get shot or tased.
Yes, if this had happened in the hood in Savannah, that shot and tased.
If you make any right, which I get it. Like if someone's,
you can tell he's not armed because he's only wearing a pair of gym shorts.
Like where are you hiding that gun?
Yeah, and,
but still, even putting your hands up to a cop, I think
it's a threat.
It's a threat.
That is a threat.
If so, I've seen drunk people do that at the bar.
Just before I get off this a little bit, the mom was like, you're nothing but a bunch of ignoramuses. And I was like, ignoramus? I had heard that in forever.
That's like saying, why don't you cops eat my shorts?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I was like, I'm going to somehow work
what kind of
ignoramus
antiquated insults is that?
You're a jerk.
You're a real jerk. You ain't worth a sawbuck.
Yeah, you're a...
You're not the bee's knees. You know? You gonna go do you gonna do the backseat buggy with another man, you queer?
Yeah.
You know, like how many old insults could you come up with?
I mean, ignoramus.
Ignoramus.
And probably the biggest word she knows.
She had to think of something like multiple syllabic, and she's like, ignoramus.
So and like the whole, they at some point the guy starts yelling at the neighbors, and the neighbors are staying on their porch and just laughing a lot.
Yeah.
Which is making them more mad, which I thought was pretty entertaining.
I like that.
I don't like these neighbors, and I don't know this couple, but they seem mostly obviously kind of troubled. But I can respect the laughter because like
just to sit on the porch and laugh
because all you're doing is just laughing at somebody and you're making them more and more and more mad.
Well, the thing, man, if people are seeking attention and you don't give it to them, it's the best queller of emotion.
It's just to like
yeah. It's just funny because most of that attention seeking behavior, if it's met with no attention, they're either going to move on to find that attention from someone else.
Yeah.
Or it'll slowly teach them not to try and seek so much attention.
When
all the time.
I thought for sure after that, I was like, well, maybe that guy will come back outside and then he'll go over there. And he did yell at the guy. He's like, I got people on the way who are handling this tonight in front of the cops to the guy across the street. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll stay up for a little while and just in case your friends
What
come.
time was this? Like 9 at night or something?
This was like 10:45, 11 when the cops left the second time. And so, like, I knew, I thought I had friends coming the next day. So I was like, I got to get to sleep at a decent hour. And so I went to bed at like 1:30 and like I'd poke my head up there every now and then.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love how our decent hour. Like for me, if I'm in bed by 2, I'm like decent hour.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know? So I got work and gigs coming up and this.
I mean, it's there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's like, it's so faint.
And it's going to be within the 10 days that I'm not drinking and smoking. So my two triggers.
Barely.
My two triggers of drinking and smoking are working. Doing the podcast. I've done 2 podcasts now without drinking or smoking.
Yeah, yeah.
This is crazy. I mean, it's kind of crazy.
And you won't be doing, well, the next time we're here, you'll be back on.
Yeah.
It is a drinking podcast.
It is a drinking podcast. I know that. But I'm just trying to think of suggestions of things to do 10 days at a time. Like I'm definitely going to do carnivore for 10 days.
Get the cops called to your house 10 days in a row?
Ooh, that'd be so easy.
Out here? That'd be hard at all. Or just call them on somebody else. I know what you want to do for 10 days is pass COVID test 10 days in a row.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that'd be great.
Well,
yeah. So along these lines, we can talk about the listener write-in, Darren.
Yes. So,
but I'll preface it with my idea about, because we already know you've already read it to me earlier.
Yeah, I kind of gave you the gist of it.
Yeah,
all.
so I'll give my perspective on the type of people that will be discussed in this Darren right here.
So shout out to Josh, listener, Patreon subscriber. Send the message on Patreon. The best place to send me
best place to send us messages.
You gotta pay to get that. If you know what I mean.
You know what I'm saying?
A few years back, 2019, I think, the owner of my restaurant sent out a racially charged tweet right after there was some civil unrest in downtown Baltimore.
And this is coming from Baltimore.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes. So for weeks afterwards, they had the most vile people coming in, telling us how happy they are to be here to support the racist owner.
Wow.
We had cars driving by, screaming at us from the main road, throwing trash at us, condemning the owner and his business. It was an awful time to work there. I just want to point out this guy's grammar is on point, and I love it. He said, I had one table during this time that was 2 older gentlemen. Nothing weird happened. They were super nice, great rapport, paid, tipped me 35%. As they're leaving, they both come up and shake my hand and go, we're so glad the owner said those things. We completely agree. Fuck the N-words. But they didn't say N-words.
But only they didn't say N-word.
And then they left. He said there for a full minute dumbfounded. Who the F says something like that to a complete stranger?
And the answer is, if you're in the South, a lot of people. So
a lot of people.
A lot of people. And at my work, I've been there so long, most people know me. You know, this year. And
aren't you the longest tenured non-owning employee?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100% now that Nikki's gone. So people know me, but this year in particular, there's been more unfamiliar faces that I've seen than most other years. Every year we get new people, because people visit the island.
Yeah.
But our locals are so, ever present that it's hard to see a lot of new faces.
Yeah.
But I have a look that might look like I just got out of a biker gang, and that I would, have those types of feelings,
I can see that.
And people, more often than you think, will be like, am I right, brother? I'm like, no, you're not.
I like the, how they are. And I'm like,
Yeah.
who?
Yeah, who are you talking about? The best thing to do is be like, no, explain.
Yeah, making somebody explain how racist they are.
Yeah.
I don't, and they just can't.
So it's become less racist now, and it's become more homophobe now.
Homophobe, yeah.
So if there will be guys in there, and if they see someone dressed effeminately, or just, it wouldn't even, look at that queer over there. It's like, what does this have to do with your good time sitting here looking at me?
I mean, if someone's wearing an outlandish outfit, I'm like, that's a crazy ass outfit.
Yeah.
But I'm not. It's not because I think they may or may not be gay. It's just because that guy's wearing the Chiquita banana hat.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of bizarre.
Right, exactly. There was a guy, he was calling his asshole his pussy. And I was like, I got to comment on that. I was like, he just goes, it's riding my pussy. And I'm like, okay, that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it's
Write
hilarious.
it down, shit.
You got the pen.
That's how I can win this game.
You're going to take it and throw the pen away. You're like, hey, go get it.
But, and it happens with young, you would think it'd be all like old rednecks or something.
Exactly
like
what I'm thinking,
But no, it's like, even young guys, young gals, it's so weird that you would assume that you can find racist or homophobic kinship with someone just by their appearance.
Yeah.
And look, Grant was just here last week.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like he paints a lick.
No.
And his art is amazing.
Yeah.
You can't ever
now,
judge.
if you walk up to a guy and he's got on the South will Rise Again shirt.
Sure. You can kind of
you
assume
might be able to
something.
profile something on this guy.
Right, yeah.
Or the other way, if he's got like Vinny's got a shirt that says F racism,
Yeah.
but not F. You can assume that this guy is not going to be racist, so don't approach him with your bullshit.
And it probably still happens.
Oh, yeah. He gets dirty looks sometimes, he said, where people are like,
Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
and I think it's in like rainbow colors too, just to drive home. I'm not racist or homophobic. Or maybe racist like, oh, he wants to screw me. That boy over there's going home.
Yeah, right. And I love that. I love when people assume certain things too. Well, the thing that I get the most really is people think I'm super stupid, which is fine. I love that. I'd rather be thought of as stupid.
Yeah.
But literally, I wrote something the other day. It wasn't even that eloquent. It wasn't even that poetic. It wasn't even that beautiful. And someone goes, "Hey, I didn't know you had it in you. That was really well spoken." I was like, because I put punctuation in it.
Yeah. Oh God. Some people are blown away with punctuation, and I we talked about this with Travis about being on social media. I'm not grammar Naziing myself or anybody else, but if you're trying to make a point,
Right.
and your point is just
Right.
just no respect at all to ever having been in a classroom.
Don't cut your own legs off of something that you're trying to get out there. If it's a statement about something that's public or something that matters, don't cut your own legs off by not putting commas in there.
Yeah.
Because Allie was just reading something the other day, an email she got sent. She was like, I can't understand it. I was like, shut up. You can understand it. I read it. You can't.
People will forget any punctuation at all. You're like,
yeah.
oh my God. Or it's like they over punctuate, space, period, space. I'm not going to mention anybody's name, but you know what I'm talking about. And it's like, come on. Are they everything's either a run-on sentence or it's not a complete sentence. And you're like, Jesus. I understand some people didn't have the education that other people have had, but you were all taught how to write correctly.
Yeah. And especially when I write, I read it out loud so I can see how the rhythm of it is.
Yeah.
I'm a rhythm guy.
Me with poor grammar, I don't give a shit.
Whatever, yeah. The only thing I care about in a text is Y-O-U-R or Y-O-U-R-E.
Oh,
because they mean two different things.
You know what I mean when I send a text. If I use the wrong your or to or whatever, I'll correct just that. This little asterisk, whatever.
Exactly. That's it.
I want you to know that even though you've got the point, I want you to know that I see this. Shout out to Rob. Like I'll fix something that I misspelled word. He's like, I know what you were saying. I'm like, I know, but I got to clear it up.
Just let me do this. Yeah. Just let me have this little self-editing here.
This is for me. I need to do it for me.
Yeah.
Because there's something on Twitter, you can't. You tweet, it's done. You can't edit a tweet.
No edit at all. Yeah.
No edit at all. So you can delete and retweet, or if you're someone that's of note, you tweet that and you either delete it, retweet it real fast, or if it's been 10 minutes, you got to let it roll.
Yeah.
Like I follow, some comic book guys I follow, they'll have a spelling error in the header, and I'm like, I wouldn't fix it because you can't. You've already tweeted it, retweeted it from your other account, and then so it says like.
And if you're really big, it's already 10,000 people have already seen it.
Yeah, so whatever.
Are we on Twitter?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's From Behind the Barcast.
If any, I don't.
Behind the Cast.
Yeah, I just don't Twitter. So
From Behind Barcast. I can't remember. I've only used it like 4 times.
Well,
we had Bug Bite.
Let's see if we can get some Twitter followers here.
You can find me on. I don't know if I want to do this, because I don't know if I have my whole name on Twitter. No, I don't. But we are at Behind Barcast, so you can search From Behind the Barcast. We're following 17 people, and we have 9 followers.
Dude, look at we're big time here.
So
if we talk about,
we got Vinny, me, you,
hey, I did it.
Alessandra, Will Boswell, Martin, my boy Faisal, my buddy Chris, and then
I'm surprised Martine's still on there.
And then another Vinny account, which he I guess has opened up a second. Oh, he's opened up a Twitch, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram account.
Jesus, oh what? That was a lot of words mushed together.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Well,
Oh, and I do want to apologize. Last week, I got a little harsh, and I called somebody a cunt a couple times, and I know that word is not favorable in the female community, and I want to apologize to these 3 ladies. I don't know them because I only waited them one time, and I shouldn't be calling them a word.
Just because they wanted hot water.
So they wanted hot water. I shouldn't call them that. I should only call people that I'm sure are that, and that's what I'll try to do from here on out. Keep
it clean, baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
So please join us on Patreon if you'd like to hear a little more in depth and in detail stuff. Which we there will be a Patreon this week and probably another one next week once we get all this stuff done. We're gonna put out the Hot Grits Boys. It'll
be out.
It'll be out before this.
Yeah, it should have came out yesterday, right? It's already out. Our Patreon with the Hot Grits Boys.
Yeah.
It's a lengthy one, and just please keep in mind, we're trash.
Dude, it was an hour. It was
an hour. We're trash.
It's an hour of Patreon,
and we don't film Patreon because sometimes we don't need to be seen.
We don't need to be seen after a full
an hour and 40
minute podcast, and we've been drinking the whole
stuck around.
Literally, when I went to load it up, the first thing that you hear Travis going, "Man, we've already been here for 6 hours." All right, and welcome.
That's the fun about the Patreon. Sometimes Fro just turns it on.
Yeah, yeah.
And we're all of a sudden, because the thing is, we were sitting here talking. I think we talked about it on the Patreon.
I think we talked about it like 45 minutes before we
were talking,
started.
And it's great because all 4 of us are talking, and Paxton not as much as the other 3 of us. Every time we talked, we got into the microphone, even though we weren't recording anything. But me, Travis, and Spencer were speaking into the microphone when we talk to each other, just sitting here. There's no recording. We're not wearing headphones.
Doesn't matter. If we're sitting here,
we're professional.
If we're sitting here talking, whether the mics are on or not, we are in the mic.
It's okay. It's the mic move. So thank you, Patreon subscribers and listeners and followers.
And follow us on Instagram if you don't. Check us out, patreon.com/
From Behind the Barcast.
Ooh, that's bad.
It's real staticky. It's just, So we're not going to do that at all.
I'm not going to do that anymore. We love you guys. See you next week. Just like the inconclusive.